Welcome to the Major Vibes Podcast, episode 11. We're here. We made it past 10. We're well into the double digits. My name is Andy. This is my brother Mish. And today we're here to talk to you about a few things. Our vibe scores, the weekly vibe scores on our pair platform. Our topic of the day today is going to be letting go and how that affects your vibe and how holding stuff in negatively affects your vibe. And then we're just going to shoot the breeze and talk about whatever comes to our minds.
I couldn't agree more. Well said.
Great.
We're going to do this. We're going to have fun. We're going to talk about the vibes. We're going to talk about the beautiful business we're building and how you're helping us
Yep.
change the vibes of the world.
As you may have noticed, we're off the couch. We got 2 lounge chairs of some sort. We put a plant or 2. We changed the lighting. It's not permanent. It's not done, but it's ever evolving. So,
I'm digging it. I think this is incredible.
yeah.
I'm very
You're not.
easily amused.
Yeah, you're not hard to impress.
No, man.
One subtle change and your whole world changes.
Yeah, but it's amazing. Like, this is where I work. This is my office. My desk is there, but it's hidden.
Yeah, you can't see.
And now when I'm on Zoom, it looks like I've got like some
it's true.
some talk show going on behind me.
Yeah, that's true. Today we got smoothies, not sponsored by Kaleidoscope, but maybe Kaleidoscope will sponsor the podcast because we're talking about good stuff, and they're a great Scottsdale.
Are they local?
Smoothie place? Yeah.
Wow, they should sponsor the pod.
Mhm.
And
So we'll tag them in this. Shake well, don't settle, and I totally agree.
shake well, don't settle.
This
If I
is-
shake this, it's going to be a mess.
This is the Organica. I don't know what's in it, but there's MCT oil in it, and it's good stuff.
Looks like smoke show.
It does look like smoke show.
And
Oh yeah, and we got some new hats that we're just trying out here. We got the Major Vibes hat. We got pair. We got the logo, different colors. Yours is green, which is more you.
yeah, well,
Like-
check it out. I'm green on green on green today.
Yeah, I was gonna wear the white hat to match the white fit, but I'm not a big fan of the side of it.
Okay.
I don't like the trucker stuff.
Oh,
I like trucker hats, but our logos and stuff on it kind of don't look the way I want. So we'll be giving away the white hats that we currently have.
we had a bit of an issue with the first batch.
Yeah, we ordered the first batch of hats and from a local place, and when we got them back, not all the hats said Major Vibes. We only had ordered 2 that said that, but we normally had the pair logo and the circle, but everything came out totally like dysmorphed, and they were just horrible. We couldn't even accept them.
We couldn't even believe it when we got there. The
Oh,
lady at the cash, who was nice enough, I guess. She's not the one we dealt with at the store the other day.
No,
And we went to pick them up, and we look at him, and I look at Dre, and I'm like, no, this is not even close. This is like a 1 on 10.
no. And anyway, before we start on the topic of like hats and merchandise and stuff, I tend to laugh at like people because anyone I follow who kind of does something or whatever, they always want to release merch, But like, let's say I'm a car guy. I follow a lot of car photographers. So like the photographers will be like, "Yo, buy my new merch," and it's just like a Carl's car photography. Like, who's buying that? Who's buying car? Like, give that away. Maybe is one thing. But so with us, even when I just had the hat with the pair logo, like we had the first samples from last year, never really did it for me because it felt too corporate, but we're not like a huge brand yet or any of that stuff. So I was like, who would want that? But then I was like, our show is called the Major Vibes Show. And I figured Major Vibes is something, whether you know us or pair or not, it's just cool to have a Major Vibes hat. At least it says something, right?
Yeah, people stop me. They're like, what does your hat say? I said, Major Vibes. They're like, nice.
Did that ever happen?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, the other day I went into the store. I was at Kierland Commons
Oh, kid
With,
went shopping.
with Sweet Yule. And the dude in the store was like, hey, what does your hat say? I said, Major Vibes. He said, nice.
Oh, sweet. Why,
No.
could he not read?
I was kind of far away and it looked cool. I
Yeah.
assumed he could read.
Yeah. No, that's great stuff.
All right, so let's get into the vibes of the day.
Let's get into the vibes of the day. So we'll start with my vibe. Not particularly great. 68 vibe. I feel good. The reason for my score today is I went to bed about 2 or 3 hours later than I normally would. I slept decent, 6.5 hours of sleep, whatever. But yeah, I didn't really care. I didn't really try to put any effort into my vibe or whatever. I watched a horror movie last night, so it was pretty high octane. And I ate late and I ate a lot too. So the heart was digesting a lot of stuff. And yeah, So 68, but I honestly, I would say I feel better than a 68 today. I'd say I feel like a 77.
Sweet.
77. Yeah, I'm not like super hype, but I'm not 68.
So you had an old school summer night.
I had an old school, high school summer night.
That's very nice.
Yeah, and I didn't even care. I said, because every time we're doing the podcast, I try to, the day before, I'm like, okay, we're doing the podcast. Our vibes are always written up there. I need to get like a 98. I need to do everything I can. And I stress about it sometimes. I'm like, and then I'm like, oh no, it's 11:30. I got to wake up in 6 hours. I'm not getting any points right now. So last night I said, you know what? I'm going to live my life. I'm not going to have to stress just to get a specific score for the podcast, you know?
Well, I think that's the goal. I don't think the goal is to be the highest scorer. I think the goal is just to know where you're at, to see what you do and how it affects you.
Exactly. So I went into it with less cares and it was less pressure.
You're still in the blue.
Yeah. As long as I'm out of the red, it's fine. But I've been making tweaks to my life, my sleep stuff and everything around that. So my scores have been kind of like this.
Okay.
But that's okay. I have no problem with that. So we're going to keep having some rogue scores, I'd say for the next month until my body gets used to a new routine.
The new rhythm.
Yeah. How about you? What's yours?
I got a 90.
I saw that. You've been doing well the last while.
Yeah.
Bouncing back.
I know. I was stuck in the blue zone for a while.
Mm.
I started relaxing a little more.
Mm-hmm.
I had over 8 hours of sleep. Restorative, not that great, only 3 hours. My average is 330.
Okay.
And I had a 44 resting heart rate.
That's low.
My average is 50. 44 is like, because I ate really light yesterday.
The lower your resting heart rate, the better you're going to feel.
Yeah. And the higher your HRV from your own baseline, the better.
Mm-hmm. Hey, before you go on, do you want to tell the class as quickly and concisely as possible?
Yes, sir.
What HRV is? Because HRV is a metric we speak about a lot. We call it the stress meter just to make it easier for new people.
Yeah.
But our stress meter is a score that is based from your HRV and your resting heart rate. So explain that as easily.
Wait, HRV or resting heart rate?
Go HRV because we talk about that more.
Okay, so very simply, in a 30-second or less clip, I've already wasted 5 seconds. HRV is your nervous system stress level.
Okay.
So your nervous system is your body stress. HRV is that measurement. So the higher your HRV, the less stress you are.
Mm-hmm.
The lower your HRV, the more stress you are.
Great.
And that's it.
Cool. And with your HRV, things like drinking alcohol, that will lower your HRV. Smoking weed, that will lower your HRV, raise your resting heart rate. So there are things you can do in your daily routines, let's say eating right away before bed. You're lowering your HRV, you're putting up your resting heart rate because your body's working harder. So there are ways to change that.
Yeah, you can hack it with meal times.
Mm-hmm.
So eat a little earlier than usual. You can exercise. Regular cardio will increase your HRV. Scotty, one of our top viber, when he started using Whoop, he started seeing that his resting heart rate and HRV were lower than others. So he got into cycling, he got into regular high cardio kind of stuff, and it raised his HRV and lowered his resting heart rate.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet.
And why is that important? Because the less stressed your body is overnight, the more it can do what it needs to do. Mm-hmm. It can recover. It can process core memories. It can really recover you.
Yeah. I'll show the difference between my stress meter right now and his stress meter. It's just so you can see what the proper metrics are versus not the greatest metrics. So in the stress meter seems to be pretty accurate on that.
Yeah. And the stress measurement is a lot to do with what we do to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So if you exercise more, you lower your body's stress. If you don't eat too much before bed, you lower it. And so it's like when you wake up in the morning, life happens, stress happens. But we've seen that the higher our HRV is or the lower our stress meter is, on those days, we can handle more stress. Our tolerance for stress is better. Yeah,
totally. And I've noticed too, I say I average around 6.5, sometimes 7 hours of sleep. But lately I've been trying to dial that in, and I've been getting closer to 8 hours of sleep. And just off the bat, the difference between 6.5 hours of sleep and 8 hours of sleep in the way I feel and my energy and everything the next day is a huge difference. Like, it's not a small difference. Like, I really feel it when I get those 8 hours. I'm like a superhero.
Okay, so you've noticed a measurable difference.
My average is around 6.5, but when I'm closer to 8, it's a world of a difference.
Yeah.
So getting sleep. A lot of people don't fully prioritize sleep or the quality of sleep, but man, anything close to 8 hours, you really start to feel like a superhero.
It's really good, especially if you were not too much of a troublemaker at night.
Mm-hmm.
If you were well behaved with your food or your alcohol and you get the sleep, man, it's like, that's why we call it the vibe score. Sure, we can look at the stress meter and the sleep meter, but the vibe score is
everything.
Is those things combined. And the higher your vibe, the higher the better you should feel.
Exactly. All right. So do you want to go into the vibers of the week? The top three vibers on Pair?
Let's do it.
So first, we've got, obviously, Scotty. Not by much. Scotty averaged a 90 score in the past 7 days. Second place, one of our newer members is Athena from Montreal, because we also have Athena from Arizona. So 2 Athenas. And yeah, Athena has been killing it. She's new on the platform and she averaged an 89. So she's not far from Scotty. Scotty's got competition. And then a special mention for third place. She's been on the platform for a while now. A good friend of mine, Zalata, and she's in third place with an 89 average. And the thing with Zalata is she hasn't been even in the top 10, 15 for the most part. So she's really been trying hard to put in the work to get her HRV to be higher, her resting heart rate lower, to focus on her sleep. She hasn't exactly shared what she's done. She texted me the other day. She said, "Man, look at my scores. They're so much better now." And she said she's going to share with the class once she concludes her scientific research. But yeah, because she was really going through it for like the last month or so. Like her scores,
a lot of yellows.
Yeah,
and she was trying, right? She was trying to figure out what activities or what exercise times were negatively impacting her HRV, because it's a big part of the score.
Mm-hmm.
And she's figuring it out. So she's going to have, like you said, something to share with the class.
Yeah, she's going to have, maybe I'll even ask her to like send me a cell phone video that we can like put up so that she can explain for herself.
That would be awesome.
That would be cool. And yeah, maybe instead of having like guests that we can't totally access, we could just tell them to send us videos.
Yeah.
So Zalata,
shout out.
Your time on the Pair podcast is coming.
Oh yeah. And look, there's 3 89s actually.
Yeah, I know. I saw.
Fourth place. We got to bring him up every podcast.
Yeah.
Reed,
yes.
Rito with another 89 in the last 7 days. So good for you.
Yeah. Maybe we even some like testimonials, which we can get. Like, you can ask Reed, "Hey Reed, what have you been doing since you started Pair? Your scores were far lower and now you're averaging really great scores." So like even throwing up a paragraph over there explaining maybe things he's done, because Reed's he's like a normal guy. He's not like a super health freak, you know? He's not a biohacker. He's not a biohacker or a super gym guy. But since he's been on Pair, he knows he's realizing, I don't know what he's realizing, but whatever he's doing, it's working. So
Reed, we'd like to hear from you. So
we'd like to hear from you so you can maybe inspire other people.
Yeah, because Reed is exactly the kind of person that we're looking for on Pair.
I never met Reed, so I have no idea. But you know him well.
He's a legend. He's a guy who lives a good life. He's a family guy. He likes to go out and have fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not too crazy, not too quiet. Like I'm like a boring dude. He's not. He's like, he goes to events, he goes to football games. Like he lives like a real person. He doesn't shelter himself.
Yeah.
And we want like real people to be using this, not just science freaks or nerds.
Yeah, and I think what we noticed actually at first when we were talking about Pair, we were like, let's bring on the biohackers. Let's bring on like the Whoop or the Oura experts and or the crazy athletes. And we did bring in a few of those, but we're realizing the people that are benefiting, learning, and participating the most in Pair are just your normal people who are slowly trying to get into the kind of health and wellness journey vibe without it being too intimidating. And so we're bringing on more and more of those people. And I think it's not that we're pivoting, but we're pivoting who our demographic is, because we're seeing so much better results and engagement and everything with just your normal everyday people who are trying to get a little bit better.
Exactly. And that's kind of the purpose of this podcast, is
Yeah.
to just kind of like show the tracking lifestyle and show the wellness lifestyle and shed light on it in a way that's digestible by like two normal dudes.
Mhm.
We're not biohackers. Like I get
No,
into
we
it a
know,
little bit, but
we know. I mean, you teach me. You're not necessarily a biohacker, but you research and know everything that the biohackers know, and you apply it.
well,
to your
a little
everyday.
bit. I like they're on my YouTube feed, right? So that's what the
Yeah.
content I'm consuming. I'm not going into the papers and researching. I'm just been trying stuff and reading books for years.
Yeah.
And I like to shed light on stuff. But one thing for Reed, I will say, is that if you look at his 3-month chart, it's just like for a last month and a half, he's just stacking it. It's
I know.
like great scores. And he's going to laugh. And maybe Carolina's going to laugh because Carolina is Reed's better half.
Mhm.
And she onboarded with her Apple Watch, I'd say a month and a half, 2 months ago.
Oh, she's on Apple Watch?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they see each other's scores. So maybe having someone, that you're really close with is impacting your desire to perform better or
Mhm.
to show better. Because once you start using the vibe score, you realize it's like, if the vibe score is low, it's like a bit naughty boy, or you're sick.
Yeah. Oh, wait, you want to try something?
Yeah.
All right. I just thought of this while he was talking. I wasn't really listening to what he was
Doesn't
saying.
matter. Reed's
But
listening.
yeah, but I wasn't fully listening because I was just thinking of something. So, okay. I have a spare Whoop band, a brand new Whoop watch, the whole thing. And maybe any of you watching may want this free Whoop. It's, I don't know, $300 device, and it's a really good device. It's what I wear. It's what you wear. So maybe we should just clip this and do a little giveaway,
Hey, why not?
right?
We do marketing.
We do marketing. Let's go. So how about this? This might change, but we're going to post this as a clip. We're giving away a free Whoop. And with that Whoop, you can now get on Pair as a beta tester and kind of get into this lifestyle that we live and meet and see what the people on Pair are talking about or doing. And yeah, all you have to do is follow at Pair Vibe on Instagram and tag 3 of your friends. And yeah, we're going to do one of those random polls. And whoever participates can now win a free Whoop device.
And is that going to be like a year subscription?
Yeah, I'd say we'll throw in a full year subscription because I think it's like, I don't know, $10 or $15 a month.
Yeah, whatever.
We'll
it
pay
is.
that. So yeah, cool.
Amazing. Love
All right.
that. Look
Thank
at
you.
this.
Thank you for joining this giveaway that we just thought of right now. So yeah, follow Pair Vibe and tag 3 of your friends, and you might be able to get a head start on your wellness journey.
Rock and roll.
Was that too crazy?
No, man, that's awesome.
All right. Now,
Wait, like, what do you mean? There's nothing too crazy.
well, I don't know. Start giving away some
We're
stuff.
going to start figuring out the flow at like episode 80.
Yeah.
Okay, so next topic. Pair updates.
Yeah.
We're going to a show.
Yeah, so we're hitting up a convention next week in Los Angeles, California, back in my old stomping ground. Spent a lot of years in LA living there on and off. So it's going to be nice to get back there. And the show is like right in Beverly Hills, right in the thick of it.
Nice, in the City of Angels.
Yeah, in the City of Angels, Beverly Hills. So yeah, we have one of our crew members booking some meetings in the background for us, so that my plan originally was not really a plan. Didn't really book meetings or do anything with people that were going to the show. It was more, we used to do conventions all the time, and we used to flex that muscle in our old business. And we loved doing that. We would thrive there at conventions, right?
Oh, yeah.
But we also knew all the people within that industry. Now we haven't flexed that muscle in 5 or 6 years. So the point of this one was to go. It's called the Connected Health and Wellness Show. And it was kind of, for me, my plan was just go in there and see what this whole industry is talking about, see how they're communicating, what they're doing, what people are investing in, and just go in and tap people's shoulders, tell them about Pair and stuff like that. But at the same time, we're having some meetings booked for us so that it's not just all random.
Yeah, exactly. Because it costs money to go to the show. So we want to make sure that, yes, we go in, meet people, but also have, some connections prior so that we can
Yeah, exactly. So
not just go there for totally nothing.
Yeah, so those are all being set up. And then the following week after that, there's another show. We haven't decided if we're fully going to that one yet, but depending on how this show goes, we'll see if it's worth it to go to the next one, or we'll see if we book any meetings that make it worth us going to Nashville for the second show.
You know what we can do? We can actually do a clip for the Connected Health and Wellness show, like a wide clip that I can post on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
Be like, hey, it's called Connected Health and Wellness.
Let me double check.
Yeah,
here
before we say this.
make an ass of
Because we'll
ourselves.
just clip this part and I'll post it on. I'll tag the event. I'll be like, yo, come say what up to us. We're Pair.
Connected Health and Fitness Summit.
All right.
So go for it.
To everyone going to the Connected Health and Fitness Summit, my name is Mish. This is my brother Andy. We have a startup called Pair that measures your vibes with wearables. It's insane. And we'd love to meet you. So we're going to be at the event. We're going to be in and around. We're going to post this video on LinkedIn. So if you want to, I don't know, set up a meeting or anything like that.
Or learn more about the product. And we're the only product that we can measure your vibe regardless of what device that you have. So whether you have a Whoop, an Oura, an Apple Watch, Fitbit, Garmin, we have it all. We pull the metrics and we create a universal vibe score that everyone could be on a leaderboard with, and everyone can look at each other's stats, encourage each other. And so that's what we're up to. So why don't you clip this, throw it on LinkedIn, and see if anyone hits us.
Boom, that's what we're going to do it. See you there.
Yeah, look at that.
All right, back to scheduled programming.
All right, so Pair updates. What do we got?
Well, we're going to the show. We said that. Pair updates, the new tribe section is much cleaner.
Yep, makes it easier to go through different groups.
Little things like the keyboard fix.
Yeah, that's irrelevant stuff. I'd say this is not an update, but this is something I want to implement because Pair is all about how you're doing, not what you're doing. So obviously the vibe score is a pretty good indicator of how you're doing. But we have noticed where sometimes I have an amazing vibe, but I'm not necessarily feeling that amazing. Or you have a terrible vibe score, but you're feeling much better than what your score is actually showing.
Yeah.
So what I want to do, we didn't necessarily agree on it or say when we're going to implement this, but putting either a mental health or a mood score that goes together with your vibe. We initially wanted something, we wanted Pair to be as inputless as possible, right? So you don't have to do anything other than wear your device and your vibe score gets spit out every morning for you. So the less we do, the better it is. However, I think for the mood thing or the mental health, whatever we do decide to call it, I think it's a good thing that tells us more about how the person is doing.
Totally. Because the vibe score is a really good thing, but sometimes your head is feeling a little different. And it's a very simple input, like happy face, sad face, focus, like very simple.
Yeah.
Just a click. You don't have to write your life story. You can if you want.
Yeah.
But we can implement that pretty quick.
Yeah. And also, if you, whoever's watching this, if you think that's a cool idea and you think that would be a good feature, whether you're not on Pair yet or you already are on Pair and you would like to see that feature, let us know in the comments because your input really helps us out to try to create the best experience for you guys.
And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to learn as much as we can from our users to create the best, just the best experience.
Exactly. And another point after that is we don't yet have an exact date on when we're going to be in the App Store for everyone to be able to do this and get out of beta testing. But we're talking about it, and soon we are going to put an actual date. There's only a few big things left to really do and develop with our app for us to be able to go on the App Store. It'll start with Apple, and then we'll do the Android thing later. But yeah, so it is going to come soon. For me, ideally before summer.
Okay, we should put a countdown.
A countdown, yeah. We'll put a countdown, but for me, I would say before mid-June. That's where I'm aiming. So hopefully that's possible. Because for me,
it's totally feasible.
For me, there's a lot of marketing. There's a lot of different things I want to do with Pair. However, we can't really do that yet because we can't fully talk about it, put it all over the internet, and have people go on a wait list and beta testing. It's like if you're going to talk about it and you want people signing up, then you got to be on the App Store.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So we'll continue to build that wait list.
Yeah, but we're still building and we're still developing. Like we're not ready for it yet, but
we're very far advanced in it as a beta product.
Yeah, of course. Like there's a far less glitches than I had even imagined. And even when there are glitches that happen, they're usually resolved within like an hour.
Yeah.
Or less sometimes.
Shout out Carson.
Yep, Carson, our developer.
And shout out my obsession.
And yeah, you're also really psychotic when it comes to that, which is a good thing.
Yeah. Scotty may be helping us out with debugging.
Yep. And Scotty, who is a pair expert, so
Yeah.
shout out Scott. He was our guest on last week's episode. So if you have not seen last week's episode, Scotty Korstein, our top viber on pair, he gave a little bit of insight as to what he does, how he lives his life, and how he can just always be getting some great scores. So
yeah, he had a lot of insight,
Yeah.
and it's simpler than you might think.
it is. It's not that hard. A lot of people, how do I say it? A lot of people seem to be a little like intimidated by getting onto pair, and it's not that. Why would you say they're intimidated? I would say they're intimidated because they think that they're going to have brutal scores, and I think they think it's like they're competing against me or you or Scotty or whatever. But really, your vibe score and your results are based off of your baselines and your averages. So if your average is 75, that means you're always going to be somewhere around 75, which is pretty damn good. I'm at a 68 today,
Yeah.
So a lot of people, they worry, but as soon as they come on pair, they're like, oh, wait, this is not that bad. I'm right there with you guys. I'm in the purple today.
It's kind of the idea of, and I felt that, I know it, when I got the Whoop. I waited a month before I put it on because
Yeah.
I didn't think that I was going to be off. I just knew that by knowing this information, my life was going to change.
Yeah.
And maybe there's also the thing where it's like, oh, I'm going to go do a full physical at the doctor. And you always imagine the worst is going to happen. It's like human nature.
Yeah, I won't go do that.
You're healthy.
I know.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's that. Why don't we get into the topic of the day? We always have a hard time with topics of the day. Sometimes they just come to me, but other times I really don't know, and I always try to incorporate something relatable with vibes. So something that I've noticed in the last couple of weeks, just talking to different friends and family and just kind of I like to check in with a lot of people that are close to me. I'm the guy who's always texting them, hey, how you doing? How's everything going? Or I'll DM them or I'll call them because I like to check on people.
Sure.
And so when you start talking to them and getting into it, everyone's like, yeah, I'm doing good. But as soon as you bring up maybe a certain person or a certain situation that happened, their vibe changes immediately. And what I noticed is a lot of people hold in a lot of anger towards other people or towards things that happened to them, people who did them wrong, even towards things they've done to themselves and they're not proud of. So what I noticed is when you're holding stuff in, and actually the topic of the day is about letting go and how when you let go, a whole weight is lifted off your shoulders. And I've noticed that with myself. I don't know if you've noticed that, but even in myself, letting go of things that I thought would define me because of the things I did in the past or behaviors I had in the past. Over the last 5-6 months, I've decided to just drop everything, be a lot more forgiving towards myself. And that really helped me try to lift my vibe. And if other people did that more, I notice a lot of people, they hold stuff in and they have grudges and this and that. Like they're fine. But then as soon as you bring it up, it's like they turn into the devil and they're ready to kill. So I always encourage people, whatever it is that you're holding on to here, if you keep holding on to that for so long, that'll turn into cancer eventually. That's going to eat you up. Even though you don't think it is because it's remaining silent, it's still within you. It's still in your subconscious, right?
Yeah.
So even friends of mine, I've told them this, learn to forgive. It's not about the people that did you wrong. They're not bad people. You might think that someone is a bad person because of what they did to you or how they behave. But like you and I always talk about, people are just the products of their environment, their surroundings, their upbringings, their parents,
their genes.
And their genes. And their parents are a result of their parents. So it goes back in generations. And if you can acknowledge that and understand that it's not just about that person who did something to you, and that person also has a lot of crap that they have to deal with that they haven't dealt with. If you can just acknowledge that and forgive them for that and let it go out of your system, you're going to feel so much better. It's not going to be in your head anymore. It's a comforting feeling knowing you forgave someone and it's not a worry anymore.
Yeah. And it's not a weight you need to carry.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of experiences that we've had in our lives. There's a lot of things that I can look back and be mad at myself, maybe at you,
yeah,
maybe at whatever. But it really comes down to the story you tell yourself. If I was in a place where I was upset with someone or mad at someone, and I'm kind of looking at them like, if I was them, I would do this
Mhm.
and I would do that. And the truth of the matter is, if I was them, I would do the exact same thing that they did, because the personality that we are is the tip of the iceberg of 10,000 years of hardwired code.
Yeah.
What does that mean? It means, first of all, we're not perfect.
No,
People say the same things about us,
for sure.
that they do things differently if they were us. But if they were in our situation with our inputs and our environment and our upbringing and our genes, they do the same thing, which means almost, I don't want to take away the ownership from doing bad things or disagreements. But at the end of the day, it's almost like it's not even our fault. It's
No.
like we made such dumb mistakes when we were 25. But I realized that until you're like 30 or 40, it's like you were shot out of a cannon. And wherever you land, you land.
Yeah.
There's no stopping where you're going.
Mhm.
And so understanding that everyone's on this journey, everyone's learning every day, everyone's trying to be better. And you just diminishing someone, like I get it. Like some people don't get along, you don't want to talk to them. That's fine.
Oh, yeah.
But if you can understand and have empathy for their situation and what they're going through and why they are the way they are, then you can like release some of that like hatred. Because that hatred is ugly. Because there's an expression: the only person who suffers in hatred is you.
Mhm.
It's like you're the only one.
I think in your heart, not your heart, but like in your heart generally, if you can't forgive someone for something they did to you, that means there's fundamentally something wrong with yourself. You're not repairing yourself and doing the work, so it's just easier to be mad at someone else, right? Whereas I'm not mad at anyone. Like if someone cuts me off on the highway or something, yeah, I'll probably in the moment like give him the finger or swear or something. But like he's not a bad person. He's just
Yeah. What if he had a rough night of sleep? What if his vibe score was low? What if he's like late to a job and like there's all these things and he's just tweaked?
exactly. Or like let's say you're at the restaurant and you're ordering food or whatever, and your waitress is kind of a bitch to you. You know, is she a bad person? Or maybe her boyfriend broke up with her that day. Maybe her dad died. Maybe her dog died. The last place she wants to do is put on a happy face and serve you, but she's got bills to pay and she's got things to do. So are you going to give her a $0 tip, or are you going to empathize with her and say, hey, whatever it is you're going through, we've all gone through it. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
So just forgive. It's okay. Everything's cool.
Yeah. It's assuming that people have bad days, and if you're interacting with them on that day, it is what it is. Like give them a helping hand, you know? Like you would want the same. Like sometimes we don't act in our best way.
No,
And we don't want to be remembered for that.
no.
You know, we'd rather be forgiven. And there's tons of things that I think in myself that can anger me, of things I should have done or could have done or would have done. And like the biggest grudge I ever had, I guess, was like myself and my sense of super high expectations, like unrealistic expectations constantly.
Mhm.
Like, oh, you didn't do that, or you're not working hard enough, or you should be working, or you should be doing like this, like extremely toxic, like dad voice in your own head. And it's just like, just let it go.
Yeah, I was talking to my friend, not to get into like church or whatever, but she said that since she started becoming more of a Christian and going to church, she said for years she was really working on forgiveness for other people and grudges she was holding and anger. And she said that's like the bulk of the work that she had to do. And because I was telling her the topic of the day of today,
Yeah.
and you know, me too. I've been going to church a little more and getting into my faith, but for me, it was, she's like, yeah, that's like a huge thing. So that's like a really good thing that you're like letting go of these things. And I told her, I said, actually, I've never really held grudges. I've never really like hated on a person and blamed them for that and blamed my situation on someone else. For me, the work was blaming myself and for things I had done in the past and holding that and letting that kind of define me. Whereas in the last, let's say, I don't know, 6 months or so, I've been doing the work to, who cares what happened
It's over.
10 years ago, 12 years ago, 15 years ago, 5 years ago? Who cares? That is not the person you are today. And especially if you're working really hard at becoming a better person, then you can acknowledge then what you did was a different version of yourself, a younger, dumber version of yourself. And it is what it is. Nothing can come of sticking to the past. But if you look to the future and all the great things that are possible and that are going to happen to you, it's like there's so much more to look forward to. Like, let go of the hate you had for the things you did and for yourself, and embrace who you are today, who you've become, and look forward to the future. And life becomes so much easier like
Lighter.
that. You're not blaming yourself. You're not doing anything. Like you're accepting. Right?
Totally. Yeah, you accept what has happened, and you use it as data to learn and evolve, and use it towards who you want to be.
Yeah. So like, even if whether you're holding on to grudges and not forgiving yourself for things you have done, or holding on to grudges because you can't forgive other people for what they've done to you, drop it all. Drop it all. And I swear you will feel so good. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but it's like, just drop it or send them a text. Hey, sorry if I was a dick to you all these years ago. I'm telling you, even if they don't answer you, you're going to feel better because you did that for you. And that's a little bit of weight like put off. And I chose this as the topic of the day because it's something everybody can relate with, right? Not everyone can always relate with like wearables and your vibe score and stuff like that, right? But we're all about good vibes or bad vibes or any vibes. We're all about vibration.
Vibes, yeah.
So to me, just the work that I've done with myself, my vibe has become so much lighter.
You feel lighter.
Yeah, totally. And that's why I'm not the guy who knows everything, but I'm the guy who's experienced a lot in my lifetime, and more than many people that I know. I've lived many different lives. So I have stories to tell, and I have experiences that I've gone through where I can, how do I say it? Other people can learn from my mistakes, right?
Sure.
The wisdom I've gathered, I don't want to hold it in. I want to give everything I can to help other people.
Exactly.
One, it feels great to help other people.
And you're letting go. Right?
And two, I'm letting go. Yeah. And even like telling this story, like it's good for me to tell that story. And it's also good for people to hear that story.
Yeah.
So that's why I think to me it was kind of an important topic of the day of letting go and practicing forgiveness.
Yeah.
To yourself and to others. Even
if,
and I think even a big part of that is not just among friends or exes or whatever, but family. I think family is like, I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just realizing it now, but so many people that I know really close to me or even distant from me, it's the family aspect. And a lot of people hold real big grudges within their families, brothers, sisters, wives, mothers, parents, grandparents. It's like, yo, you only have one family, right?
yeah.
You don't have to be best friends with them. You don't have to call them every day, but to hold these big grudges and like not talk to each other for 30 years for probably the dumbest thing ever. It's like, bro, who cares?
Yeah.
Drop it. Drop it. Everyone is going to live a much better life.
Yeah. And it can't be from a lot of the people that we know and that we're talking about.
Hope you're watching this.
I hope you're watching it. They want to win. They want to be right.
Ego.
Right? The ego is crazy. And it's like almost like they can't take the high road because they would have to be perceived in their own minds as the weaker one, the one who gave up. When it's like, man, just take the high road. You used to make fun of me for taking not that I always take the high road, but more times than not, like, I'm like, I rather the path of least resistance.
Yeah, you don't need the crazy confrontation and all the crap that comes with it. It's like, hey, you want to win? Great. I'm happy for you. We're cool.
Yeah.
You win.
Yeah, you win. It's great. Does that mean like things will be easier and we could just like forget what happened and just like get over it? Because there's no point in holding on to it. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
But the ego, if you have to like forgive someone, there's always the other side of the story. It's not like they're the evil Captain Hook.
No, there's always two sides to a story.
There's two sides that are equally valid, that each experiencer has experienced, subjective to themselves. And to say that they're completely wrong means that you're completely right and that they don't have brain cells. You know what I mean? It's like the left and the right when they argue.
Yeah.
They're really vibing at the same frequency.
Oh yeah, in politics, it's like, yeah, everyone has a side that they prefer, but I think everyone can acknowledge that both extreme left and right are equally moronic in their ways.
I would say that have equal vibe scores, equal poor sleep, equal HRVs.
Oh
equal
yeah,
crap.
yeah, absolutely. Like I watch politics and entertainment around politics and I can enjoy it and laugh about it. But at the end of the day, that's not a life I would ever want to be in, you know? And there's a lot of ego in that. And sometimes the left, you know, the Trumpers will say things
The left
that they barely even
Trumpers are the right.
Yeah, they're right. But so like the Trumpers will say something, not because they believe in it, but just to piss off the people on the other side. And then the Biden Harris people will say shit that they don't even believe in just to piss off the people on the right. And it's like, are we here to like save America or make America good? Doesn't matter what side you're on, who cares? Or are you just here to bicker and cause commotion and cause division in the comment section and do all the chaos? But I guess that's what feeds the clicks. That's why we don't like politics.
Yeah, and it's I would think it's just a minority of people who are very loud, because it's usually the most fearful, the most scared, and the most unhealthy who make the most noise.
Yeah,
Because they're living in fear. They live in fear that really this TV thing that they're watching is going to change their world in a way that they can never go back. And it's just absurd. Like you're giving all your ownership to the screen.
Yeah.
You're giving all your ownership to this curated narrative, whatever the hell it is.
That is literally designed to make your brain melt.
Yeah. Or at least it's optimized now to put out brain melting content, because that's the only thing that drives clicks.
Yeah.
Like politics maybe 20 years ago or 30 years ago was not as insane, but now there's people watching YouTube, people watching Netflix. No one's watching the standard stuff. So they have to make it spicy as hell.
Yeah.
So that people watch it. And it's,
I was watching something today. It's not really on topic, but I think we're done with letting go. I think we said what we had to say. I was watching something today and it was like, do celebrity opinions even matter anymore? Right? Because some celebrities, actors, musicians are very vocal about what they believe in, whether they're being paid to say it or not. You know, there are some who willingly say it. There are others who are being paid to say certain things, whatever it is. But I guess we noticed with the election, like, again, I don't care who won. But like we noticed, there was a total of 2 billion combined followers for the Democrat side that were celebrity endorsements. The combined following of celebrities that were endorsing one side were really vocal about it. They were going to all the things. They were doing their dances. They were, you know, the Avengers were teaming up to tell you what to vote for. It didn't work. Because I think people realize how out of touch celebrities are against the normal person. Like, why is a person worth $2 billion going to tell you what you need, like what to do, right?
Yeah, they live in their bubble, and good for them. That's amazing. They have a great place that they live in.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. It is what it is. They live in a place where even if they're not being paid directly, who pays their bills in the movies is being incentivized to say a certain thing.
And what was brought up in that show was Brett Cooper's new show. But what they brought up was how a lot of the younger celebrities, and she brought up like Timothy Chalamet, she brought up Zendaya. These are young mega stars.
Yeah, the next gen.
They are not talking politics. They did not even mention who to vote for, who they're voting for, what policies they like. And they're the biggest. And you don't see what they're doing on the weekends. You see what they're doing when they're promoting a film or promoting an album. But back in the day, we loved all the celebrities because they were mysterious. You'd see them on screen, you'd see them on the Kimmel show or whatever, on the late night show promoting it. And there was no agenda. There was no, you should do this or you should do this.
There was no political affiliation.
There was no political affiliation. And I think very slowly now celebrities are starting to get into that again, which is, you know what, I'm just going to sit back, shut up and do my job and everyone is going to be happy. Let's just make beautiful art again. And, and not start to sway people in all these different directions, because it's not what I think that is right or what they think that is right. It doesn't matter who's right, who's wrong. People watch art in movies and film and listen to music to disconnect. and to be brought into a different world where these problems don't exist, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So don't, like, when I'm trying to disconnect from real life, don't put me back into things that are making my life worse.
Yeah, that's why if like you see an actor who's been very vocal about something, that's all you can think of when you're seeing the movie,
there's
and
some
then you don't
people,
want to watch the movie.
no, and I think that's why for a lot of people always ask me, like, what is your favorite genre of movie? And I would always say sci-fi fantasy, because I watch movies to be immersed in a different world that is not my own. I don't want to watch things about, like, documentaries and
Do you like to escape?
other stuff, but I watch that stuff to escape, to get out of my everyday world and get away from all the bullshit that we deal with on the daily. I want to watch aliens, or I want to watch dragons flying around different universes and teleporting, like bring me to Pandora, Avatar land. And I could be in the worst vibe ever and I can have the worst day or some crap happen to me, but then I'll turn that on, or I'll go to the movies and watch something, and boom, my vibe is immediately lifted because I'm just immersed in this beautiful, magical world.
You got some popcorn. You're sitting next to your brother who's chirping the whole movie, saying stupid shit.
Yeah.
And so, man, going to the movies is the best.
I love, and we usually go to movies at least like once a week, once every 2 weeks. But lately there hasn't really been anything going on. It's like that weird, awkward winter time.
Yeah, there's been nothing that appealing.
No, nothing that great.
Sonic was great.
We watched Sonic 3. Sonic 3 was a cool thing. I really enjoyed that. And again, Sonic 3, like, you're in this different world with a bunch of hedgehogs and this Jim Carrey's the villain. Like, how bad can it be? I went in there and we laughed and we had a great time and it was super heartfelt, you know? Those are the types of movies that I want to see.
Yeah, you're escaping, you're letting go, you're letting go. You're not thinking about like super heavy topics, because like life is heavy. There's stresses, no matter who you are.
Doesn't
Even
matter.
if you're a celebrity with $100 million in the bank, you still have stresses. You still have family stress, parent stress,
health.
Like everyone has stress. Everybody.
Everyone is dealing with so much stuff already. Life is not easy. No matter where you're from or what you do, life is difficult. So keeping hate and all that stuff within you, that just makes it even worse, you know? So,
and the way a lot of the social platforms algorithms are optimized is to tweak you, is to piss you off.
Oh, it's to feed you more of what engages you and enrages you, so that you start commenting and you're engaging and you're in that loop again. I've been working months now on my algorithm and my YouTube algorithm, because YouTube is primarily what I'm on the most, and Instagram. And now you go on my like Instagram explore page, it is vastly different than it was 6 months ago or a year ago. It is so different. And it is actually awesome now. Like, I don't get enraged. Anybody that I was following that I would see a story and I'd go like, oh man, you're gone. Whether I like you or not, you're gone.
The content that makes you feel any of the 7 sins.
Exactly. The content that makes you feel any of those 7 deadly sins. I got rid of that. And if you go on my explore page, it's like, I don't know, uplifting quotes, Christ, golf, and a lot of guitar and bass.
And
like,
cars.
And car. Well, that's on my car Instagram.
Oh, okay.
I even almost unfollowed, because I have 2 Instagrams. I have my personal and my car page. I unfollowed a lot of the car pages too, because if I want the cars and all of that life, because the cars, I love cars, but everything around the cars is very luxury, right? So if you're liking car stuff, you're liking, they're showing you watches and they're showing you like these mega mansions and they're showing you all these people that are just spending like crazy and trying to one up. Oh, my house is $40 million. Well, my house is $100 million. Then you start getting yachts and I'm just like, what is this world? I just want cars, bro. Right? So even in my personal thing, I've gotten rid of a lot of cars minus Formula One.
Yeah. I think a big part of the reason we created the Vibe Score was so that people can see what effect the content they consume is having on them.
Mm-hmm.
We recently, like you just posted about from the last podcast,
doom scrolling
at night, doom scrolling and all that stuff, and how it literally affects like people in pair. They're seeing that their Vibe Score is lower on nights where they scroll.
Yeah.
And it's directly linked. Like it's like you can see in real time or almost real time what too much content or what divisive content is doing to you.
Yeah, actually, Carson, I'm going to ask you right now, Carson, our developer. I wonder, is there a way where we can see if someone on Pair, if someone's been doom scrolling at night before their sleep? not that we want to see that from our users, but let's say if I can have that metric for myself where like, I guess it's screen time, right?
Yeah, it's screen time.
If you can pull my screen time and see which app I was on before bed, how long I was on it, and see if there's a direct correlation with the lack of sleep or lack of sleep quality, there's something there where if you can now scientifically measure how hours of scrolling before bed or in bed
correlates to your
vibe and your sleep, then just that data is so good. You can continue to scroll and whatever, but as long as you're now aware of it and it makes the masses aware of that it's a huge problem, then I think that would be an amazing thing.
Yeah, it's definitely possible.
Yeah,
it would be a screen time API.
Yeah,
but also like even without measuring the screen time, you see your vibe. But if you can see that like on 2+ hours of scrolling before bed, tends to decrease your vibe by XYZ.
Okay, well, look, example. You go to bed, your house is 2 stories. You leave your phone downstairs,
yeah,
and you go to bed. And you'll often text me, which I find weird sometimes, but I get it. Like I won't speak to him for, I don't know, 12 hours. And then, I don't know, at 9:30, he's like, checking out.
No, what do I say?
Yeah, you said, I don't know.
It's a funny saying, we'll remember it.
Yeah, you're like, I'm done for the night. So just letting you know, because he's not going to have his phone for the next 8 or 9 hours because he's going to sleep. Whereas I go to sleep and my phone is, well, I'm on it a little bit at night, and then it's like next to my bed and charging and getting my brainwaves all messed up, and look at your vibe scores and look at my vibe scores.
Yeah.
And actually today I was having a shower thought. It was like, okay, maybe tonight I'm going to sleep with my phone in the other room because I have the alarm on my Whoop.
Yeah.
And often at night, I do wake up every hour or so at night or every 2 hours, whether it's for 2 seconds or 2 hours.
Yeah.
But I always not necessarily pick up my phone, but I at least tap it to see what time it is.
Okay.
But I don't think that's a good thing, like Scotty was saying.
Yeah.
Because let's say I never set an alarm. I have an alarm at 8:30 and my little Whoop vibrates. There's no screen on it, but it vibrates. And 8:30, I've never woken up at 8:30. But it's there as a safeguard, just in case I'm like in a super coma or something. But let's say I check my phone at 5:30 a.m. It's horrible. Or 4:30 is even the worst time because I'm like, oh man, I have to wake up in an hour and a half. I'm already wide awake. Yeah. So I start stressing. Then I grab my phone. I'm like, okay, what's going on in the phone world? And then then everything sucks.
Yeah. So I leave the phone out.
So you leave the phone out. I don't. So I'm going to try to not do that.
Yo, I got to pee so bad.
Why don't we end it? We're done. I think we knew today was going to be a shorter episode.
Well, it's not. It's just about an hour anyway.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, that's it. That's all we got for today. Brother really's got to go to the bathroom.
Really got
these smoothies always make me pee. Like I'm gonna have to pee 3 times.
Coconut oil, MCT. I don't know what.
Yeah,
it is,
whatever.
I gotta pee, and I always have to pee.
Yeah, you do always have to pee. But anyway, thank you everyone for watching episode 11 of the Major Vibes podcast.
Yes.
Once again, my name is Andy. This is my brother Mick, and our company is called Pair. And we were actually discussing maybe that name will change once we start to grow and have different fundraising rounds and really start to get this out to the public. Not that I want to change it, but it might change. So for now it's Pair. But what won't change is that the show is called The Major Vibes Show.
Right on.
So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you at the same time next week. And we're actually going to be doing the podcast from Los Angeles, probably in our hotel room. So,
beautiful.
Yeah, we're driving there so we can bring the whole kit. All right. Go to the bathroom.
Yes, I got to pee. See you next time.
We'll see you next time. Cheers.